Hi guys, it's Amanda with the Pretty House team, obviously, as there's signs everywhere. So I was going to do a Facebook Live today with two of my favorite clients and friends, but Facebook was not cooperating, and I will not be held down, and neither will Sherry and Russ. So they have joined me via Zoom. I'm gonna just pop in with them. They're at home with their two blessed angel boys during this glorious quarantine. Um, I haven't been able to see them, so I'm glad for this excuse to get to see their pretty faces. So Sherry and Russ moved here. When did you guys move here? Was it a year ago?
May of the end May of 2019.
Yeah. Nice. All right. See, I know my people. And they came from Texas, and they bought their house sight unseen, essentially. So I just wanted to talk to Sherry and Russ because it kind of coincides with the timing that we're in, where a lot of people are either not wanting to look at houses or sellers are not wanting to show houses. So I thought, you guys still like your house, I hope. But you guys did it. So first, let's talk about why from Texas to Florida? How did that happen?
Well, after working 35 years with my company, I've always wanted to live in Florida. And but when I retired, I never thought I'd have underage kids. So we have a son, Matthew, who's 11, and a son, Alex, who's 7. So schools were paramount. And you don't really come to Florida when you think about Florida for elementary schools or high schools. You come here to enjoy the beach and the sun.
Education's not really our forte.
Yeah, right. So we came from Dallas, Texas, and Dallas is much different than Florida in the sense that everything is new. It's being developed. There's lots of new homes, lots of good school districts, bad school districts. So we experienced the good school districts and the bad school districts. So the first thing that was paramount is good schools for our sons, and yet still being close enough to the joy of the beach and all the fun stuff that Florida has to offer. So we did our research, and we narrowed it down to Pinellas County. Pinellas County is rated as the 3rd best school district in Florida, and it has not disappointed. We picked Palm Harbor after a lot of criteria. How close is it to the beach, the cost of living, its accessibility to a larger market like Tampa. We're roughly 15 miles from Tampa, 5 miles from the beach, and we have great schools. So that's kind of how we narrowed our search to Palm Harbor. And they have 2 high schools here. They have Palm Harbor University, and they have East Lake Middle School. And their schools are very highly ranked per U.S. News. And that's kind of how I found Palm Harbor. Is I looked at that report and started researching and doing some in-depth research. And so we put our focus here. So with that, we came on vacation in 2018 just to validate that this was a nice area, which that did. It won us over. We really liked it. It's a growing market. It's the most, so real estate is very, very competitive here. Mm-hmm. When a house comes up on the market, if it's the right house for you, you need to grab it. So we signed up on one of these real estate sites that basically showed us what was coming on the market. Mm-hmm. And, we needed certain criteria like, 4 bedrooms, a 3-car garage, those types of things. And we initially saw some homes that we just thought were fabulous. And we started working, when we got here, we started working with a couple of realtors, actually.
Yeah, you were playing the field.
We were playing the field because
we were dating.
We were playing the field
because we didn't know any better. This is all we didn't have any contacts, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I think a realtor friend of mine told me that Pinellas County has more realtors per capita than anywhere. So you have a lot of part-time realtors, and I mean part-time. I try to, there were some houses that we wanted to look at. I'd call the realtor up at 5:01 in the evening, and they were done for the day. They wouldn't answer their phone, and I was
Our
lucky.
mailboxes would be full.
Yeah, voice mailboxes would be full. It was very difficult. So finally, we got to look at a couple of homes with one realtor, and she didn't really have a feel for what we were looking. I mean, she tried her best.
I think her market was just a little bit different than the homes that it was more a vacation home, retirement home. So we just didn't find the right fit with her, I think.
Correct. But she would take us into these homes and have to schedule appointments and stuff. And she did her best, and she was very pleasant, but not a very good negotiator, not a very good, and I don't mean this wrong, but she's just a part-time realtor, even though she was working full-time. So then one day, Sherry and I on a Saturday decided, why don't we just go to a bunch of open houses? And so that really opened our eyes to what realtors here are like. We went into one home, and like every house, when you buy a house, in Florida, they raise the property taxes. It has a cap of 3%. So a house might be worth a lot more, but the tax base is much less. And I remember asking this one realtor, I said, so do you have an estimate on what the taxes would be? And she pulled it up, and just for example purposes, she said, oh, they're $4,000. So there'll be $4,000. And I go, no, that's the old taxes. When I buy this home, how much will the taxes be? And she said, $4,000. Well, for those of you that are new home buyers, that's not the way it works. They reset your tax rate based on the value of your home you bought, less your homestead exemption. So she was understating the taxes by $3,000. So it was just a series of meeting a number of those type of realtors that were very unprofessional. Their follow-up skills were terrible. And the ones that did try to look out for us did it intermittently, and they just really didn't have a feel for what we were looking for. We knew we wanted to live within Palm Harbor University High School and East Lake, so we had a very definitive area. And there's plenty of homes here, but there's a very wide range of price ranges and stuff. So that's how we kind of chose to bring our focus here, and that was our experience with the real estate market. That coming here, I have to say, coming from Dallas, I was quite shocked. I felt like I went from a professional environment to this used car realtor market.
Yeah, you did mention that a few times.
Yeah.
So when the idea of buying a house without seeing it was happening, how did you get comfortable with the house that you bought? How did you get comfortable with the neighborhood that it was in? How did you feel comfortable throughout the negotiations that this wasn't like a bait and switch, or you weren't, that kind of thing?
Well, do you want to answer that?
Sure. Well, I think that the first thing that happened is that we found a realtor that we felt comfortable with. I remember being at home in Dallas on Zillow, looking at all the different options and calling you on a house. Didn't know you from anybody, but you had a house listed, and I inquired about it. And within 5 minutes, you had responded. And it was something so far out from what we had experienced that it immediately impressed me. So as we started conversing with you and had some meetings with you, I just felt like we really found somebody that knew the market and was interested in what we needed and what we wanted. And so that began our relationship with you. So when we found the house, when we saw the house online, the one that we ended up buying, I called you, and it was already on your radar. You knew, because you knew what we wanted, and you had already made an appointment to go by there the next day, which was also very, impressed us. And you were able to make a video, and that was kind of before the time of the video, but you made a video for us. You did the walkthrough. We saw it in real time. I could ask questions. You went back to rooms that I wanted to see again. So it was like we were there. So I think that between that and then having somebody that could go and, you know, look at the neighborhood and tell us the different neighborhoods, because there are a vast difference in some of them. So it just made us feel comfortable with that. And it was something that Russ was adamant from the beginning. We can't buy a house unseen. I'll fly there and look at a house, but I'm not putting money down on a house I haven't seen. But we did, and we were happy with it.
Yeah. And to speak to your future clients, if somebody would have told me I'd buy, me personally, buy a house sight unseen, I would say you were drinking a little bit too much tequila, because there's just literally no way, thinking about that process, that I would think I could get myself comfortable enough. I just liked, I tend to control things. I was way I was in my business practices, and I just couldn't to let that go. To add a couple of things about you that impressed me was, in the beginning, we sent you some pictures from magazines and from homes saying, this is kind of the style. The thing we were looking for was like a coastal feel, because we were coming from a Southwest feel from Texas, and, you know, I'm living in Florida. I wanted a coastal feel. So we sent you some pictures, some magazines, and you took that in, and then you were very laser focused in on that. You knew what we wanted, color scheme wise, the type of home we wanted. And so that made us really, really comfortable. It made me real comfortable. And I don't know if I ever told you this, but one of the things you did when you came to look at this home that made me really comfortable is you literally started videotaping as soon as you entered our development. So we got to see the front of the development, driving through, whether there was any houses that were not, you know, in good shape. Did people cut their grass? Do they have, you know, there's homeowners association here, so you don't have a car parked, you know, pieces on a front yard. But that made me very comfortable, and it gave me a very good feel of the aesthetic look of the neighborhood as well as the house. So that was a little thing. It was those little things, and I always tell people it's the little things in life, and that was another little thing that you did that made me comfortable.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you were Sherry was I just fell in love with her immediately. Russ always made me very nervous because he's so detailed that when I was touring the house for you, I was like, find everything. Like, find everything. Because I don't want him to come here and it be like, what is that? What is that? That wasn't in the video. So I felt like I was almost over picking at the house, like in the Murphy bed, office bedroom. I was like, and this is a Murphy bed. It's attached to the wall. There are bolts. It might, you take it down, there might be holes there. Like, I felt like I was like almost trying to not sell the house, because every time I talked to Russ, he would ask me something that was so detailed. I thought, if this works, if he buys a house sight unseen, I may retire. I may be like, you know what? All done. Going out on top. But then, just like Tom Brady, I'm like, no, I've got a few more years in me. I'm also not being paid $35 million a year.
To me, I think a lot of people fall into the trap of falling in love with the home before they put it in bid or before the bid's been accepted. And to me, it's a business transaction. So I try to distance myself emotionally from that. I let her fall in love with it, but I needed to stay reasonable so I could be comfortable. Then once I'm all in, and we just absolutely love our house and we love our
You love it?
Yeah, we do. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else of any other place.
To be quarantined here, we're so lucky. I mean,
it's true.
So lucky.
I'm sitting here, I live in a paradise, and I feel like I'm on vacation, extended vacation, not really in quarantine.
Like, it's just fun to me to take my children, then we would just be on vacation this whole time.
Yeah.
Michael was like, he can't go out. He can't do this. I'm like, listen, that virus is not affecting children. I've read about it. Well, he could go places. Like,
give him a mask. Give him a mask.
Yeah. Now, how are the koi doing?
The koi are doing great. I mean, I got that into a rhythm. And that was another thing. We bought a home that had a saltwater aquarium. I've never even had an aquarium, let alone a saltwater aquarium. For those of you that don't know what saltwater, it's like a chemistry lab. It's not about the fish, it's about the quality of the water.
Yeah.
It's not just changing a charcoal filter out. It's changing water rotations, and you helped take care of that for us while we were in the middle of our transition, because we closed on the house in December.
Yep.
But we had to wait for our boys to
finish school,
which was in the beginning of May. And so we didn't get here till the very end of May, 5 months later. I had made a couple of trips to do some work on the house, painting schemes and stuff like that. But that was the other thing I remember telling you, is like, I've never had fish. How am I going to take care of these koi and the saltwater fish from Dallas, Texas? But it all worked out. You made it easy.
And then you post those beautiful pictures of the animals frolicking in your backyard. And I'm like, that's fantastic.
Yeah, we got deer walking through the back and stuff.
Yep.
And
you found us the perfect house.
You did. And here's the beauty. I mean, I was willing to go much higher in the cost of a house. Because there was much more expensive neighborhoods around than where we live. But in retrospect, I love this house, and it's better than I would have regretted buying those other houses. This house for us, which was Paramount, was in a kid-friendly neighborhood, and we have a nice blend of kids. And so for those of you who think Florida's just retirees, it's not. But I do have a few people that are older like me that started their families here, that are still here, that I'm friends with. So it's a perfect balance.
Which says a lot too about a neighborhood where you started it 20, 30 years ago and you're still there.
It does. Because in Florida, what you'll find is, and especially this area, you'll find over 55 communities, you'll find retirement communities. And in my mind, it's like, well, where do I find a kid-friendly neighborhood in Florida? Again, I never thought I'd retire with younger children, and we found the perfect place. So Amanda found the perfect place for us.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Well, thank you for explaining how you got comfortable. I think that's the question that I'm getting a lot of, is how do I get comfortable? How do I get, well, you guys have done a beautiful job of explaining how that happened. And thank you so much for keeping the children quiet. I don't know if you've duct taped them to a room or a wall, but well done for almost 30 minutes. I have not heard one word.
Yeah, it's one of the few times we let them have screen time, which is there.
I was going to say, it's a little terrifying what they're getting into right now, but I appreciate it.
They could be duck to get down there.
Right. I look forward to seeing you guys soon in person.
Yes.
Doing something fun.
Yes.
You look very nice. I see that. I didn't even notice Russ's very fancy shirt.
Oh yes, he got dressed up for you today.
I mean, this is nice.
My t-shirt.
Yeah.
Are you
actually wearing shoes?
Yeah,
he is not wearing shoes.
I am not wearing shoes.
Attaboy! That is awesome. All right, guys, I love you very much. Thank you for sharing your story. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.